friends, to another edition of the Heritage Wealth Planning YouTube channel. Today might be the most important day of this channel's existence because we're going to start the process of analyzing Social Security benefits and how it affects you. Do you know that the Social Security Administration no longer sends a physical copy of your statement to you unless you're 60 years old or above? And the reason they do that makes sense because most people aren't really going to take Social Security until they, or even thinking about it much until they hit that 60-year-old reference point. So Social Security says, well, if we're going to send millions upon millions of statements in the mail and it just goes in the trash, why bother? And, obviously you can have some risk to getting your personal information exposed to and whatnot. So it makes sense that Social Security Administration stopped that. The problem, of course, comes though is if you're 58 years old and you haven't looked at your statement ever, do you know what you have? I don't think so, because I don't think a lot of people go on SSA.gov and actually sign up to review their monthly or their annual Social Security statement. And you should. In this video, we're going to talk about the very beginning of how to analyze your Social Security benefit, which is called the Average Index Monthly Earnings, the AIME for short, the acronym AIME. Everything, my friends, everything from Social Security is premised on this one number. Thus, if that one number is incorrect, it's going to affect not just you, but it could affect your surviving spouse's benefit as well. Thus, get on the socialsecurity.gov website, sign up, sign in, and review your statement to make sure your AIME numbers are right. So let's talk about what AIME is. Let me move myself out of the way. The problem with Social Security's website, there's just so much stuff on there, is that if you log in to type in AIME, you're going to get a bunch of stuff. So I'm going to put this link in the show notes below. And this is chapter 404-2.10, average indexed monthly earnings is just one of the many different web pages they have about this. Woo! Steps in computing your primary insurance amount under the average indexed earnings method. We follow three major steps. PIA, your primary insurance amount, is the actual amount that you're going to get as an income base if you retire at your full retirement age. There'll be other videos on that later. But remember, the AIME is everything's contingent on that, which leads to your PIA, which is the amount of money you're going to get or you're eligible to receive if you retire at your FRA. So I'll type all this here in a second just to get it clear. Clear as mud, right? First, we find your average index monthly earnings. Your average index monthly earnings. I'm going to show you an example here in just a second. Second, we find the benefit formula in effect for you the year you reach 62. And then we apply that benefit formula to your AIME to find your primary insurance amount. So let me tell you what that all means. So let's go to the example they use, which is pretty helpful actually. What Social Security does is they take the top 35 years of your earnings. So every year you make money in Social Security, it adds another little notch, I guess. There's going to be 50 notches, 42 notches, 35 notches, 30 notches, whatever it is. Every year, check, check, check. And they're going to take the top 35, all right? And then they're going to index them for inflation. So let me give an example. In 1978, if you made $9,870, they're going to give you an index factor of 4.6, which gives you your indexed earnings of that year in today's equivalent earnings of about $45,400. In 1979, you made $10,007. They're going to index at a factor of 4.23. Thus, they're going to give you an indexed earnings of $45,600. And it goes on and on. And we're here in 1995. They have an index, or you made $24,000 in real numbers. In 1995, you got $2,000 a month in income. They're going to index that for 1.9 index factor rate, which means in today's dollars, you're going to get roughly $48,000 of indexed earnings. So they're going to do all that, take your top 35, and they're going to add them all up. So they're going to say, boom, 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 add all these up, your highest 35 total. In this case, they added up to 1,705,000, 1.7 million. Then they're going to divide by 420. So 17 divided by 420 equals right there. That is your PI, that's your AIME, your average index monthly earnings. Why do they divide by 420? Well, because 35 years times 12 months is 420. And let me just show you on my trusty old calculator there. I just did 35 years times 12 months, and that's 420. So remember, they add up each of your top 35 years of indexed earnings. And again, index earnings just means they're adjusting it for their inflation factor. And then they add all those up. They get this number here, 1.7 million. They divide by 420, and that gives you that number right there. 4,059 is your AIME. All right. Now, here's a guy who made the max amount of index earnings each year for his entire working career. And so they add up all these guys, come down, blah, blah, blah. And he's got 3.8 million of earnings he's made over those 35 years. So they added up all those, his max 35. His average index monthly earnings after you divide by 420 is $9,144. All right, so this guy averaged basically $48,000 a year in today's numbers. This guy averaged over $100,000 a year in today's numbers. In fact, let's just calculate what that is. 9,144 times 12. He averaged about 110 in today's numbers. So this guy over here maxed out his Social Security earnings. This guy here did not. He averaged about $48,000 a year for the Social Security benefits to give him an average index monthly earnings. Clear as mud? So let's calculate these two folks and see how much their benefit will be. Because remember, your AIME is not your benefit amount. No, no, no. Your AIME is not your benefit amount. It's only the amount that determines what portion of the bands are going to determine what your PIA is, which is your benefit amount. PIA is your benefit amount at, okay, that is your benefit amount at full retirement age. So AIME is used to calculate your PIA, which is your benefit amount at full retirement age. So your AIME, though, is critical because we got to figure out what it is. We got to figure out how to determine your PIA. We got to figure out from your AIME. And so what we do is Social Security does, they have these bands. They say the first $897 of your AIME, we're going to give you a factor of 0.9%. The next $4,500 on top of the $897, we're going to factor at 0.32. Finally, anything above $5,397, which is $897 plus $4,500 equals $553.97. Anything above that, we're going to calculate it as a factor of 0.15%. And so all that means is you got this guy here. We showed you his AIME. This guy here is $4,059. His first $897 gives him 90 cents on the dollar towards his PIA. All right, so you're taking your AIME and you're using these band calculations to generate what your PIA is. And again, PIA is the amount you're going to get at full retirement age. So $807 is what he gets on his first $897, because $897 times 0.9 is $807. Now the next $4,500, well, he doesn't have more than $4,500. He only has $3,162 above the $897. And so you take the 3,162 times that by 0.32, he's getting 32 cents on the dollar for every dollar he makes above $897 in his AIME. And his benefit on that band is $1,011. So you take these two, add them up, and that's his benefit right there. That's his PIA, 1819. That's how much he's going to get from having an AIME of $4,059, essentially $48,000 a year. All right. Now the other guy who had the max earnings. All right. So this guy averaged $110,000, more than twice this guy's amount. Well, his first 897 is also calculated at 0.9. So he's going to get 90 cents on the dollar for his first $897 earnings as well on his AIME, which again, same thing, he gets $807. But he has more than the second threshold. In fact, he has third threshold. So the second threshold, he maxed out as well here, which is $4,500 because 897 plus 4,500 is 53.97. All right. And that's all that goes in the second band. We times that by 32%, and that means his second band is going to generate him $1,440 a month towards his PIA. But now he also had money in the third band, which only gives him 15 cents on the dollar as a Social Security benefit. So again, the first band gives you 90 cents, the second band gives you 32 cents, and the third band gives you 15 cents on the dollar when it comes to your AIME. So now he's got 37.47 in that third band at 15 cents on the dollar, which is going to net him $562. Add these guys all up together, and that's his benefit, $2,800. So he was going to make about $1,000 more than this guy, $1,000 more than that guy, which means he's going to have a benefit base of 55% more, even though he made more than double this guy, more than 100%. In fact, that's probably maybe 150% more than this guy, roughly. So he made about 150% more than this guy while he's working, but he's only going to get a 55% benefit increase. And the reason is this: the more money in your AIME, the less of a factor you get to come back to you as a guaranteed monthly income. So the more you make, you start with 90 cents on the dollar, it goes down to 32 cents on the dollar, and then it goes down to 15 cents on the dollar, where it maxes out, where right here, this is max. He's not going to get any more than that if he retires at his full retirement age. $2,800. That's the max you can get today, because Social Security has a ceiling on how much they tax you, which is always under attack, by the way. The politicians, they need money to keep Social Security solvent. So I imagine it's only a matter of time for that ceiling on taxation of Social Security is raised, if not outright just got out, where everything is taxed. But we shall see. Right now, there is a ceiling. I think it's like $127,000 this year before you to get maxed out on the tax you pay on Social Security. But anyway, this is the max he's going to get. Anyone can get today, $2,800. This is a guy who made $48,000 on average over the course of his working career. Now, why do I bring this up? Because if your AIME is wrong, your PIA will be wrong as well. So let me give an example. Let's say you log on to socialsecurity.gov and you're seeing your AIMEs index. You're like, and you go back to 1999. Say you're 1999. They got you making $30,000 a year. But you're a mortgage broker and you had a great year that year. You made $200,000. Well, that needs to be adjusted because you're being you paid the tax for that, but it's not being reflected in the Social Security Government Administration calculations, which means your AIME is wrong. It's wrong. You got to get fixed. So you got to look at each year. You don't have to bust out your W-2s if you don't want it, but it can't hurt. But just get a gauge. Hey, 2006, as a mortgage broker, I made $200,000. They only got me showing $39,000. That means I'm significantly I'm going to get underpaid for the tax I paid, which means my AIME is not reflected correctly. Now, with that said, if you had consistent earnings above your annual, what they're showing annually, then this is going to be a big change that needs to be made because they're consistently underreporting your income. But if it's just 1 year, it's probably not going to change much, but it could change a little bit. And the reason is, let's just say this $39,000 was truly $50,000. How much is that going to reflect in that $1.7 million total? Not much. I mean, they're going to add another $12,000 to this. It's not going to change your AIME much. So I wouldn't sweat it if you're, a couple $1,000 here, a couple $1,000 there. It just isn't going to change that much because this is factored over 35 years of earnings that they're adding up. So, just a couple years, a couple $1,000 off, not a big deal. But if you see significant errors in here, like I said, $200,000 there, $110,000 there, whatever it is, well, you need to adjust it. And you just go to socialsecurity.gov and adjust it so they can get it right, because your AIME is your primary source of Social Security benefits, folks. If you don't get it right, It's your fault, not theirs. And they say explicitly, look at this statement, which we don't send you anymore, and see if there are errors in there. And if so, contact us, please. So I hope that's a help on the AIME, the Average Index Monthly Earnings tutorial. Click on here. I have more topics on Social Security. The next one was on how Social Security taxation. I'm gonna have the next one after that will be on PIA, because that's critically important to understand. We're going to talk about PIA, FRA, spousal benefits, survivor benefits, you name it, we're going to talk about it because it's important. But everything revolves around the AIME. It's your most important number in Social Security, so you got to get it right. And lastly, just remember, AIME is not your monthly benefit. AIME is a number they use to calculate your monthly benefit based on these bands, okay? Hey, if this is helpful, thumbs up. Thumbs up are very helpful to me to get the word out on the channel. Don't forget to subscribe. Comment. Comments help me. Absolutely, they do. The more activity on the YouTube channel that I have here, the more YouTube recognizes the videos that we're showing here, and the more they share it with other people as well. So comment below, thumbs up, subscribe, and then hit the bell for notification that they have new content that we published. And hey, I look forward to seeing you on the next episode of the Heritage Wealth Planning YouTube channel. Thanks, guys.